Hey guys, welcome back to the garage programming and other stuff. So this will be programming coming up for the week of January 16th. I'm doing this ahead of time because I have some crazy stuff coming up. But we're going to start with the Open and then get right into the workout. So the Open is coming. What is the Open? It is a competition that is open to everybody around the world. So interestingly, you just pay 20 bucks and you can sign up and you can do it. And they've got scaled opportunities. So if we look at some workouts from the past, so let me go to leaderboard and let's just go 2 years ago. And so we can look here. There's they've got different options. Like we just went everybody, so the Open, and then we can change divisions. We can change it worldwide. This is a part that I want to show you: workout type, RX scaled, etc. So we can look at, there's a scaled workout with people doing them, right? And I mean, we're talking, let me slide down here and see how many. So there's 50 per page. There's 550. So that's that's going to be 25,000 people. Is that right? 5 times 500 would be 2,500. So yeah, 50 would be 25,000 people did the Open. That's insane. What? Did the Open scaled. So if you can't do, like, I don't know, pull-ups, whatever, just do it scaled. There's 25,000 people did it scaled. It's pretty cool to see where you fall. These people that are videoing, you don't actually have to video it, but let's see what happens if I click on this. And do I get to see her video? Boo. No video. Let me see if I can find one. All right, well, this one is sideways, so that doesn't work. All right, so here's a girl who went scaled for some reason. I mean, she looks pretty boss. She looked like a gymnast or something, but that's a very 80s word, boss. And then, so she's doing the workout scaled for whatever reason. There she goes. She's filming herself. And she's doing box jumps. No, burpee box jump overs. That's what it was. And anyway, you don't have to film yourself. It's just this person did. Let me go back and look. Yeah, so very few people filming those. Anyway, so the Open is for everybody. And if you kick its ass, you can make it to the next section, which is, I mean, none of us really want to, but you can. It's just fun to do, see where you compare. So actually, let me do that. Okay, I can't find where it would show all of my results, but anyway, I've been doing this since I started it. It's been pretty fun. Okay, so on to the programming. So the week of the 9th, we're right here. Like I said, I've got everything already planned out. But so we're going to see some back squats, row wall ball, some runs. We got front squats and dumbbell box overs. So box over is a big thing for the Open, so we're going to be practicing that. Toes to bar. Anyway, you can kind of look to it there. I'm going to go into each individual one and talk about the intended response and what you should be getting out of that workout. Alrighty then, so January the 16th, Monday, you got to warm up, get your weight lifting. So it's every 2 minutes on the minute for 6 times. We are doing 2 power cleans and 2 jerks. We're building up that weight. Recommended is to get about 70% of 1 rep max. So Alan Lindsay, this is for you. Someone asked me, Alan and then 2 others asked me, hey, what about as I get older, should I be doing with this whole 1 rep max thing? So this is my advice. I chased the 400-pound deadlift, and it ruined my back. I am a smaller guy. I probably shouldn't be lifting that heavy, and I was going a little bit too fast, too quick, trying to get there, trying to catch up with some of the other bigger guys that were doing it. Yes, I did get it, and I think I got my deadlift up to about 407 pounds, and I now have to roll my back out every time I'm at the gym because of that. So don't chase weight for weight's sake. A 1 rep max is cool, but it doesn't really push the needle forward as much as doing 5 sets of 8. So 5 sets of 8 is way more important to your body than the ego boost of a 1 rep max. Now, I mean, I do like doing that, and you'll see me put on the half-pound plates to get a 1-pound PR every now and then, but I only do that if I'm feeling super awesome. And you know me, I wear lots of clothes, so I stay super warm. So if you're older like me, maybe the 1 rep max isn't so important. If you're 22, heck yeah, drop down that 1 rep max. See what you can get. Push it, baby. You're indestructible, but be smart. So you can prioritize this and spend a lot of effort in this realm. I prioritize CrossFit's main event, which is the Metcon. Sometimes it is just lift. Very rarely with us, it should be, but I guess you've got to serve the audience, and the audience wants more than just being sweaty or just lifting. So then the Metcon for today it's right there. It's Grace, and I got Grace Altered. So good, I put it in there. So Grace is a named workout from CrossFit. There are many times where they name these workouts and then they get repeated. We like to repeat more than just the named workouts, so we name everything. That way we can see our progress through time rather than just very spotty. So Grace is 30 clean and jerks at 135 pounds for guys, and 95 pounds for girls. So the loading is in that world of moderately heavy. For me, it's a little bit more than moderately heavy, but because it's a clean and a jerk, I can use my lower body, which allows me to move through this. If you take notes for yourself, you would do something like, hey, let me do them one at a time, and let me do them 3 at a time, now maybe 2 at a time, right? And you can kind of drill into where your capacity is going to lead you to go. So you look at this and you say, okay, well, how fast should it be? I would say, somewhere in the, if you're really good, you could probably do this in 2 minutes. I can't, to 6 minutes. So it's in that shorter time domain. And so if you're going to scale this, I would either scale the weight down a bit if that's the part that's going to be tough, or if you're like, I don't really have that movement, we can edit the movements or you can edit the amount, right? We don't really want to adjust the amount too much because the idea is to fatigue under duress of that muscle stamina. So if you only do 15 reps, then it's going to give you a very different response. So I would say first do 30 clean and jerks at 95 pounds for a guy rather than doing 15 clean and jerks at 135. So you want to scale or modify to keep the intended response. Obviously, if you're injured or something, then that's totally different. If you are doing something like, hey, I am strength biased, I always want to do more strength, then you could say, well, I could do this a little bit heavier. I think the first thing I would tell you is before you just make this a little bit heavier, if your grace time isn't under 6 minutes, don't make it heavier. Get faster than 6 minutes. If it's faster than 6 minutes, like let's say it's at 4 minutes, I would say, all right, well then how many are you doing in a set? Are you doing 1 at a time? Well, then do 3 at a time. Are you doing 3 at a time? Try to do 5 and only give yourself 10 seconds of rest in between, right? So you're going to be pushing around a heavier weight. I think that's going to be good for you with less rest, rather than saying, I'm going to do 185, 30 clean and jerks, and you're going to look at the clock and be standing there for 10 or 15 minutes. That's probably not going to move the needle as much. If you want to do that, I would say just do 185 and just do clean and jerks with no clock and go for hypertrophy where you're doing, hey, I'm going to do a set of 5, I'm going to rest for 5 minutes, do another set of 5, rest for 5 minutes, right? So that's getting out of the world of CrossFit, and you're dialing too much into one direction. If your idea is, hey, I've got like me, I've got an adventure race coming up, you actually may say, well, let me tone this down to 95 pounds, but maybe put some more reps in there. So now I'm pushing more of that cardiovascular endurance or stamina, not just muscle stamina. Grace Altered is we do the same exact workout, except it's 55% of a win rep max. That way you can RX this. In some cases, many of you, 135 is below 55%. Is above it, right? So you can adjust. You could actually do both of these in one day, right? Anyway, pick one, or I guess you could put in there that you did it. Okay, so the next day, there are things in CrossFit. Actually, let me pull this up and show you. Let me see if I can grab it and slide it over. Okay, yeah, this isn't going to play very well, but I'm going to see if I can get it to show up. So I am going back through a course they have online. I'm going to talk about these in a little bit, but they've got courses you can do. I already did part of it that I wanted to show you, but in this programming course, they just go back through and talk about the difference between volume and intensity, as well as variance, as well as reps and duration. And so there are things we're looking at when we do programming. One is, hey, it's supposed to be constantly varied movements. So vary the movements. Of course, the Open's coming, so the movements will be a little less varied because we're actually focusing on something. And they're executed at different time and mode options. So the time may be short, it may be long. The modality may be, I'm hinging or I'm running or whatever, right? So we're doing various different things. So let me go back to where we were. Okay, so then today is, let's see, toes to bar and row. So Toes to bar is a gymnastics movement. The loading is 0, so there is no external load. It is you. This is going to be a longer row. I mean, even just looking at this, to do 500 meters is 2 minutes. So that's 8 minutes of rowing there, and then 8 minutes of rowing there. So this is already a 16-minute workout, right? And then you add in the toes to bar. If you're really doing toes to bar, the first 30 is probably not too bad. The rest of them are going to kind of get chunked up. For me, I would break these up ahead of time, knowing that I'm doing 90. Big thing here, though, is watch for your hands. If you feel your hands getting chummy, the open's coming. Don't let your hands get chummy. Toes to bar are always in the open, which is why we're doing them. So if your hands get a little bit weird, stop, get off the bar, and do candlesticks or sit-ups. So the intent of this is a long slugger with a gymnastics movement that is going to break down through time, right? So 30 toes to bar, not too bad. 90 toes to bar, super bad, right? So what do I do to keep my stomach going, to keep my hips going, to keep my arms fresh? What are the things I'm going to do? I know like Jamie Thomas has taped the bar so she can stick on it a bit better, but it's going to rip her hand when she does 90 toes to bar because the tape is just super aggressive. So what do I do to mitigate that? Well, one, chalk is good. The tape could be fine, but maybe you only put your index fingers on the tape and your thumbs rather than your whole hands, right? You just slide over a bit. Or maybe it's your pinky and your index finger or something, right? So slide over so that you're not fully engaged on that tape. If I was going to adjust that, this I would still want to practice because it's a gymnastics opportunity to practice, but I'd still want the effort. So I might do something like 15 toes to bar practice combined with 15 sit-ups and then jump on the rower. Okay, let's see. That would bring us to Wednesday. There is weightlifting. So back squat cluster reel. Again, the reel was because whenever we were entering the back squat cluster, it kept giving us a different line item. So every back squat cluster was its own thing, and they never paired up. So I combined them all in Wodify. They've emerged. Function, but I had to merge it into a new name that I could easily see, and I just put reel. So there we are. So it's 4 sets of 1, and you're doing 2-1-1 with 20 seconds rest between. So it doesn't actually matter where the rest is. The idea is that you are utilizing something called time under tension. So we are forcing you to slow down this movement. You could see there's total rest in there, but it's going to be something different than. So what I wouldn't do on this, if I'm going to scale and substitute or change this, what I wouldn't do is just knock out, boom, 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 just do my 4 sets and I'm done. The idea here is a little bit more time under tension. So what I would do if you wanted to do all 4 sets straight and you didn't want to take the time in between, I would do pause squat, right? So I'm slowing down, not pause. Well, yeah, you can pause at the bottom, but that could get tricky if you're heavy. I would do the slow descent and the slow up if you wanted to change this. Really, I wouldn't edit this at all. I would just do the work and edit the loading, but just giving you some options there. All right, so wall ball box jumps, and this is starting with a little bit of external loading and some gymnastics. So the wall ball is that external load. The way I would scale this first is not by weight. I would drop the target down first so I get used to catching the heavier ball if that's an issue. If you've been catching that heavier ball for a while, you're like, okay, I got it. I just don't throw it high enough. Okay, sure, drop down the weight and then try to get to that higher target. But 25 wall balls, you probably can't do them straight. There's 3 rounds, so it's 75, so it's a lot of wall balls. It's almost Karen. So if you know your Karen time, you get half it, and then of course you got box jumps to be put in there as well. The tricky part here is going to be if I'm jumping with my legs to push that ball up, and then I'm going to box jumps, what is that going to look like to my box jump? For me, the scale is going to be box step. I don't jump anymore because of my knee. I tore the meniscus a couple years ago. Never had surgery, and it's actually okay. I just know that box jumps and double unders kind of make me feel funny on my knee, so I'm going to avoid that. And so the intent here is if I keep moving, there is going to be an opportunity where I need to. It's a couplet, and I'm going to be tired in the legs. What's one way that I could increase the amount of work I could get out of my legs? Yes, I could step. But now you're decreasing the explosive intent of it. So I would only go to the stepping if I had to. Instead, what I would do is take appropriate rest and stretch. Now, on the other side, if you're like, you know what, I just can't do 25 and 25 back to back, that's going to be really tough for me. It is, and that's the intent, is for you to figure out how to work under that duress. What I would do instead is start chopping these up and do like 5 and 5 and go back and forth so that you still get 75 total, but you're doing 5 and 5. It's not RX, but it will increase a higher output, and you can mitigate the effects of my legs are getting too tired doing 25 box jumps. So box steps, like I said, are a valid substitution and an easy one. But this is going to be you looking at the wall ball going, dang it, I really need to pick that up and go again, but my legs. So moving between the box and the wall, I would be stretching out my legs like doing a quad pull or something. So that movement between is some sort of active recovery. There really isn't too much that you really need to sub in there. The range of motion, though, is something that I would definitely keep. So you're going to squat and you're going to extend fully on the wall ball. And of course, you have to extend fully on the box jumps. Otherwise, it lets you know in a very vicious manner that you missed. All right, let me move to the other days. How do I do that? Right there. Okay. So we got weightlifting. We're doing floor press and push-ups. So floor presses are something we do every once in a while. If you were going to do any sort of substitution on that, I would throw in a bench and then you could use a bench. But there is a reason to do the floor press. You can look that up. Just Google why would you do the floor press versus the bench press? Push-ups, the obvious scale there is going from your knees. I would maintain that plank position over everything. So if you have to worm, go to your knees. Maintain the plank position. Oh, yay, the Echo Bike Crusher. So this is 15 minutes. CrossFit's workout, the ideal CrossFit workout is always going to be in that 12-minute time domain. So 10 to 15 minutes is just where CrossFit wants to go. So you have 3 pathways that your body will use for resources: glycogen, phosphagen, and oxidative. So the first is anaerobic and the last is aerobic, right? So CrossFit wants to kind of plan all of those, and the 12-minute workout is kind of a sweet spot. Plus, it allows you to keep up intensity, which is key, without having the suffering effects of I got to pause and rest. Chippers are great for that, but this one has got it's got 3, so you got a triplet. The bike, no scaling there. Get on the bike and power it through. The kettlebell swings, it's a heavy kettlebell swing, so you can adjust the weight as needed. And then you have a push press with a dumbbell. So dumbbell push presses are in the open a lot, or dumbbell work. So if you have to change the weight, this is something that I like to do because we don't have a set for everybody. We just don't have that many, or we drop them and the heads bust off. It's hard to get, I need, whatever, just having a set for everyone. So what I would do here, the total weight I'm lifting is 500 pounds. If I did a 40-pound dumbbell, then I would do an extra 2 reps or whatever it is to get to or above 500 pounds of dumbbell push press. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but rather than saying, hey, I did 10 at 40, I'm going to do 13 at 40 to push that number up a bit. Okay, so you may look at this and say, well, 30 calories, I could probably sprint that maybe. Then I move on to the kettlebell swings. If it wasn't 70 pounds, I probably could do all 20 in a row. So you're going to have to think about clever ways, or not clever, just ways for you to break this up that makes it make sense. You could probably do the 10 push presses all at one time. I'm looking at this going, yeah, I'm just going to go on the bike and go. I'll probably try to maintain somewhere in that 60 cadence. The 20 at 70 pounds pushes me around a bit, so I'll probably do my favorite 11 and 9, drop it, and then pick it back up. And then the dumbbell push press, I will just say, well, I'm going to be on the bike anyway. I can do, if I have to rest, I can do an active rest here, and I'm going to do all 10 at one time, or 12 or 13, whatever that dumbbell weight is, right? And push that. So how do it's understanding my body and then making notes. Actually, I'd be curious. I should have gone back and looked to see what my notes are on this. So what I wouldn't do is change the weight. This is supposed to be a heavy kettlebell, so I wouldn't drop it down to, I'm just swinging a 5-pound dumbbell, unless I'm hurt, right? So you're moving it away from what its intended response is. I'm going to move a heavy kettlebell and make you kind of suffer under that, make you think twice about, kettlebells, I used to love them. And then it's 15 minutes. So you know the time domain, I'm going to be working out for 15 minutes. There's no way to go, I'm just going to crush it all. If it's just one round, yeah, you could probably dive into this and your time would be so significantly different than knowing you have 15 minutes of it. Okay, so let me look at the next one. Friday. Oh, it's another open workout. And good, we have the scaled version too. So you have, let me just look at this real quick one. So double unders, overhead squat. So yeah, double unders and overhead squats are always in there. So this is a good one. Let me look at the scaled. I'm going to focus on the scaled one today. So it's so perfect, right? It's single unders. I'm pretty sure everybody in the gym can do single unders. So you can do the open, you can do it scaled, and you can do this. I love having these scaled options actually named because then we can track it. So if you did it scaled last year, yeah, do it again and see what you get. Beat yourself. Overhead squat, the weight drops down, and then you got chin over bar, pull up. So you can do anything. So chin ups. Regular, you can do kipping, you can do strict. So this is non-banded or non-jumping, so that will be a sticking point for some people, but chin over the bar. So in the open, what would happen is you could probably do all of this, and then you would just mark down your time. And then this part, once you did something different like jumping pull-ups, you could keep doing the workout, but it doesn't count after that, so your score is just the first part. So there's a time cap of 14 minutes. So the movements are such that the number scheming is such that you can drive through this. So I do 100 single unders. Takes me maybe less than a minute for sure, and then I can grab a bar and do overhead squats. Probably can do all 20, right, and then back to the single under. So right here I'm looking at my shoulders might feel more fatigued than anything else. So I take a deep breath. I go over. I start on my pull-ups. Now it's a pull motion. My legs are fine. And then we go back down here, we're doing dumbbell snatches. So this is going to be combining both my legs and my arms. They should be sufficiently warmed up. At 35 pounds, I could probably do all 20 at one time, right? So this is something that you could almost chip through. It's called a chipper. You just chip, and you're right through it. If you go back up here, so yeah, so we talked about this, or I talked about this in the last video. The CrossFit games or the Open likes the stuff to get harder as you go. So at first, right, we're doing double unders, and then we have 12 ring muscle ups. That's going to be a showstopper for almost everybody. So there should be. Yeah, so there's the skill section for today is basically look at the workout, figure out what you're going to do, work on the skills you need, which is going to be for almost all of us. How do I do a ring muscle up, or what kind of chin up can I do? And so then as you come back through here, you see it goes down to, there it is, you've got bar muscle ups. So this is going to be a showstopper for probably 80% of the people who try to do the CrossFit games. So I'll throw this out there. Anybody that's like, hey, I haven't really even done ring muscle ups, and I would really like to do that, send me an email. I will put together a class where whoever wants to show up, I will teach you how to do ring muscle ups. Many times it's just a practice and then an aha moment, unless you're like me, and it took me probably 3 years to get a ring muscle up. I just could not make my body do the right movement, which is crazy because I can ride a unicycle and juggle, and I couldn't make that work. But I can help you. Okay, so those are the workouts for the coming week. The other thing I was going to try to do is this, show you this Chat GPT. Oh, I can. Let me do it. Okay, if you have a business, you need to use this. I am going to pretend that, I don't know, who's got a business at the gym that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, I know. Chris has got a pressure washing business. So let's see. How would I, oh no, how about this? Write me a, hold on, let me just write it. Okay, so I'm going to tell it, write me a sales email for my pressure washing business here in Woodstock, Georgia. And let's see what it gives me. Okay, so it already is starting to write it up. I think it's called Grizzly. Oh, sorry. I forgot to put pause. I'm over there looking for his actual business. So, okay, so it wrote us a letter. Let me pause and look at this. Okay, so you can read this. Looks pretty cool. I like it. I'm going to put in there, use details from my website. And so it's going to pull some, oh, look at that. At Grizzly Soft Wash, right? I love this tool. I stink at writing. I'm an electrical engineer, so having something write something for me is great. You can actually also tell it to write code for you. Let's do, what would be interesting for him? Okay, let's do this. Make it funny, or make it funnier. Are you tired of being embarrassed by grind? Oh, I love this. I love this tool. Okay, so if you're like, dang, this could be powerful and you need help, you're like, tell me how to use this. I am happy to help you use this. This is my world. The technology is what I do. I'm a detail. This is why I love coaching so much. It solves problems. I am a problem solver. So Chat GPT, it's from OpenAI, and it's not really artificial intelligence, but it's pretty cool. So you could even say, let me do this. Turn this into a rap. Look at it go. So he could rap this. I love it, man. Just like that, right? It would take, anyway. You can make it do a lot of things. This doesn't have to be this. It could be anything. I wrote in there, how do I talk to my, how does a dad talk lovingly to his daughter who struggles with anxiety? And it wrote some stuff up, and I'm like, yep, that's actually it. So it's nothing groundbreaking. It's stuff you would probably do. It just takes you a lot less time. It's like Google searching, except it gives you better, faster results. Okay, this thing is getting long once again, because that's what I do. And what was the last thing? Okay, the last bit for you is education portions for for CrossFit. So I got a couple of you guys have taken your level 1. If you ever need help on that or want to take it, I'm happy to talk to you. Level 2 is what all of my coaches get. So after your level 1, your next time, you can just redo that. It's not so fun. The level 2, it's like going to boot camp. They break you down and make you cry, but it teaches you a lot. Level 3, not very many people have their level 3 or 4. I'm actually now entertaining the idea thanks to one of you. And it's just a long process. It probably takes like 4 years to get. Then you could do some other specialty courses, but the thing that I really want to show you with these online courses. So if you're thinking, Andy, I wish I could learn more about anatomy or coaching fundamentals. Why do you guys do what you do? Why is there always visual, audible, and tactile cues? Well, here's a great one. Hey, I'm an aging athlete. What would you say to me? I mean, just coaching aging athlete. How can I use dumbbell betters? What about lesson planning? Why do you guys write the stuff you write? That's actually one that I'm doing. I think I just showed you that. Oh, no, it was programming. Scaling, what can I do? Everyone's, you're saying I do something wrong. How would I spot the flaw? Teaching movement. So you could do any of this stuff. It's pretty cool. They're fun. They're interesting. If you, after 15 years, I've done most of these, and there's not much that they say that I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that, because I've been doing it for a long time. But it is pretty interesting, especially if you've never seen it. And it's a great way, if you have seen it, just to be reminded. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. I will try to make these shorter and turn them into podcast episodes so you can just listen. Y'all be good.